Welcome to Angel Heart Radio. As you can see, little Miss Annette McCoy is here with Marney Perna, as we always are, usually at this time of the month, unless we're traveling, and both of us enjoy travel, so you're never sure what's going to happen. And it's always interesting, Marney, isn't it? Some of the topics we come up with. What I love about all of this is, okay, yeah, we have a topic, but then we talk about what's coming up and what's good for everyone. So
we get easily sidetracked.
We can, that's exactly right. And for people who have tuned in, if you'd like to go to the Angel Heart Radio Facebook page, you can join in the discussion. You can ask questions. You can post compliments. We like the positive. So please join us there. Well, an apple a day.
Yes, what an interesting topic.
Yeah, well, I thought so. I thought, oh, okay, well, an apple a day keeps the doctor away. I wonder what keeps the doctor away from a lot of us, because I don't know about you. Well, I do know about you, Marney. You've just mentioned that there's been illness doing the circuit, and I have to say, certainly I've had some symptoms, I guess, lately, and they tend to hang around, and it's like, okay, what's this all about?
Yeah, well, we've got little ones in the house, so that, you know, you just seem to come out of the cocoon, and the next thing someone goes down again. So, and you can't say to them, oh, don't come near me, although I feel like living in a bubble for the next week. I'll have to create a magical bubble and say, germs, leave. I don't need any germs. I need to be able to travel in health. So, yeah, and the little ones, I mean, you know, one gets the tonsils, the other one gets the tummy bug, and, you know, so you're dealing with people upchucking and coughing and mucus, and you go, oh, really? And then you think you've dodged it, and then all of a sudden you go, damn it, I didn't dodge it well enough. So,
right.
It is what
it is. Someone recently posted on Facebook, there was an 102-year-old woman from America who is a doctor, and she was saying how, as I believe, and this other person believes as well, that whatever is within our bodies has a message for us. And it was, I'd forgotten. You know, I've got a book sitting on my shelf, in fact, 2 copies, and hadn't bothered to look at, okay, so what's a cough about? And, you know, I find that there'll be a symptom around until I get the message, and then all of a sudden, disappears. And it's like, well, thank you.
Yeah, you can certainly look into what body system is feeling not so well, but then practically sometimes you've got to address what the little bug is doing as well. So, you know, there's metaphysical and there's physical, and they're both working in unison together. So yes, we're getting the message, but then we have to deal with or allow the physical one to move through. Does that make sense to you? All right.
Does.
And what I'll often say to people is that what I mentioned there before about the little ones, you have what I call the fall guy, or the fall organ or body system, right? It doesn't matter what system it is. So someone who is inclined to get headaches, that's the symptom that'll show up, because that's their body's usual pattern. Okay, so if you think of, if you had your own children and you had like 3 or 4 children, each of them would present differently when they were unwell. So one would get the stomach pains, others get the throat, others get the headache, and someone else might just get a combination of different things. But they all will, when they're coming down with something or being unwell, you will notice that one of these organs or body systems will show up. Right? Mine's the throat. Mine goes to the throat like that. You know, metaphysically, it's about not being able to speak, or what am I stopping myself saying?
Yes.
Or why am I not allowed to express how I'm feeling, or something like that. But the germ gets in the throat, and for me, the throat is my fall guy, because that's when I was very young. I had a couple of serious health issues that started in the throat.
Right.
So it's also a message for me to not ignore when something does show up. So if I've got that sore throat, don't allow it to go not untreated, but unacknowledged, because it has got potential to move other places.
Sure.
Right. So what do you need to do? What is in your toolbox or your health box that helps you to get better?
Yes. Yeah. And I think a big one for everyone is putting ourselves first and going, okay, well, my body's telling me to slow down, to rest my voice, it might be.
Well, I think after last Angel Heart Radio, because it is about 4 weeks ago, remember I had a slightly croaky voice and I was having to have drinks of water all the time. And I ended up going into a full-on, because I get pharyngitis, which is just an annoying little niggly thing that stops me speaking, right? And everyone thinks, oh, this is great, Marney can shut up now. Right, but it soon morphed into something more. And I went to bed for 3 days. It was bliss, absolute bliss. And the cats, who normally would try and wake me up from about 4 o'clock in the morning, just slept beside me for 3 days. They didn't tap my face or tap my eyes. So, my body seriously did need it. And you come out of it and you think, oh, thank God. And thank the universe or the family that I was able just to go to bed, because I know the day I came downstairs, the little one said, oh, no, you're not supposed to be here. I said,
Oh.
How
so beautiful.
I know. They were aware I wasn't supposed to be hanging around them or them me.
Well, it's interesting too, because I'm very, very grateful after, and I might realise, I wasn't as well as I thought I was. Thank you for allowing me to feel fabulous again.
Yeah, and give, like, I talk a lot with clients. In today's society, we don't recuperate. We get sick and we're pushed out straight away again to start the treadmill again. In years and years ago, there was a recuperation stage. So if you were really ill, you were given time to recuperate. It didn't mean you were lazy, but you had that restorative kind of time where you gently worked with your body to build up your strength and your capacity again. Nowadays, like, even if you had open heart surgery, they get you out of bed in like 4 days. Now, I understand the need for movement and all that kind of stuff, but I also understand the shock that the body's gone through for something as major as that. So, you need to nurture all aspects of life and of health. So you have your physical, but then you've got your emotional and your spiritual are all kind of connected in that triad of health. So you really do need to honour all aspects of your wellness and give everyone the same degree of care, I suppose, and love.
Right. Yes. And it's really important that we do embrace ourselves. And if that means taking some time each day to do something that
like
fills our heart with love, or to take the time, like I adore my grandchildren. I adore being with them. It's really lovely when especially after a full day, they've disappeared and I can go,
We hide upstairs because we're not as young as we used to be. So I thought to myself the other day, I had unlimited energy when I was caring for our 3 children. And, you're on the go all the time. And now you go, oh, I'm drained. It was really tiring, I think. Even working and working with clients, I'm really buoyed and pumped while I'm with them. But afterwards I go, oh, dearie me.
Right.
So you do have less energy. You can only give 100% of your capacity at any one time. Okay, now I liken that. I'll often explain that to clients with regards to a mobile phone. When your phone is new and you recharge your phone, it kicks in and it holds that charge and it lasts for days. When your phone is getting a bit older, although you might plug it in overnight, it doesn't hold that charge as long. So you might do something with it and straight away you've lost 15%. All right. So the capacity of the phone battery is lessened even though you fill it up 100%.
Right.
The capacity of the 100% on that given day is less than it was when it was brand new. And your body's the same. So your energy capacity has to take into account all the other things that are happening in your life. So is your capacity a little bit less than when you're on full charge?
Mm-hmm.
And when you're really feeling well? You know, is that when you need your apple a day? That's when you go and sit quietly in the corner and have it.
And it's interesting because, yes, we said an apple a day. It can be anything a day. Yes, I do need. I welcome a rest. How wonderful to be able to put my feet up and read a book or whatever, listen to music.
And that capacity to have those short naps or those, you know, where you just close your eyes for a few minutes, just recharges you again. You wake up and you go, oh, I feel really good again. You know, it's just enough for you to, and you don't always go to sleep. You just relax and you let your guard down and you allow your body to, okay, what energy system is happening at the moment? And that's the other thing to be aware of. With Chinese philosophy, we run on a 24-hour clock. And for any 2 hours in a day, a particular body system is in charge.
Yes.
Right. So if you're doing a lot of work and there's a certain like 1 to 3, it's represented by a body system. It's just all gone out of my head, the times. I'll turn around and have a look at my big clock up here. So it's not on there. It's on the other side. Sorry, Annette, I've got to turn this way. So I used to know them off by heart, but I've tended to let it go a bit. So 5 till 7 at night is the kidney. All right. So between 5 and 7 at night, if your kidney system is a bit in low edge, it's meant to be in charge. So it uses more energy because it's its time. Right. Now, kidney meridian is part of the water element. So it's part of the anxiety, the stress and the peace and security and all those kind of words come into the water element. So if that's being affected, it's being drained quickly.
Right.
Okay, so you need to be aware of when am I feeling my lowest and how does that correlate to the 24-hour time clock that the Chinese philosophy use. And sometimes it helps us understand why certain times we're feeling lower than other times. Because in that body system, 5 to 7 at night was kidney, but then it has an opposite 5 to 7 in the morning. Okay, right. So 5 to 7 in the morning is large intestine. So it's at its lowest edge in the morning because kidney is in charge in the afternoon. So the kidney at between 5 and 7 in the morning is not working so well. It's not in its highest level. Does that make sense?
It does, yes. And thank you for reminding me because I'm well aware. I know at one stage I was looking at why am I waking up at 3 o'clock in the morning all the time? Yeah. And it can be related to exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah. So it's just another tool of information. So education is key. When we're informed and educated, we can make sense of what's going on in our lives. Or it helps to make sense. Sometimes it doesn't make any sense.
Now, I want to remind our audience that these shows should never replace legal, medical, nor professional advice, nor your own sound judgment. Some of these things that we're talking about, you might go, oh, yes, I agree with that. And at other times you might think, oh, no, I don't understand. I don't believe that. And that's fine because we're all individuals and what will speak to one of us may not speak to someone else, and that's fine.
And we
follow
have
your own heart.
Choice is a very unique human virtue. You can choose to do things. Okay. And if something doesn't sit with you, if you don't want to discount it altogether, what you do is you park it off to one side and say, it doesn't make sense yet. If you add that word yet to it, the body goes, oh, okay, maybe some more information will come along and I'll figure it out. And then other times you never figure it out. You go, no, still doesn't gel. I mean, I learned a lot of things in my training that did not sit with me initially. Like straight away, I'd sit there and I'd go, no, no, sorry, that's too weird. Or no, not a chance. But when I learnt to say it's okay for me to not fully understand it as yet, I might find other things that help it make sense. So one of the big issues for me initially when I was first training with natural therapies was the concept of past lives. I really did struggle a little bit with the concept of past. I thought, how can I have been I didn't quite believe in reincarnation and stuff like that. But then one day I sat down and thought about DNA, and we are who we are based on our DNA history. When I looked at it that way, it made more sense to me that we have a predisposition sometimes to certain things. And that helped me to kind of come to grips with that whole previous existence.
Right.
Or previous time. But initially I went, yeah, no, not a chance.
I can remember thinking, the first time reincarnation came up for me, and I was probably in my teens. I went, oh, no. We have one life and then we pass on.
Yeah. And
that's,
yeah.
You talk about choice, and that's exactly right. And what suits us today may well change, and that's okay too.
Absolutely.
Our experiences allow us to maybe look at things differently.
Yeah. I often share with my clients the concept of the yin-yang symbol. So, the Chinese philosophy has a yin and a yang, and they sit together in a nice round circle. You've got the white and the black usually is the representation usually. Now, in the black, there's some white, and in the white, there's some black. So you've got a bit of each in both sides. Marneyism is that one side is the stuff we've learnt through experience. So we've lived through something. So we've gained knowledge through living. The other side is the knowledge we've gained through learning. So it's not quite the same as living and learning, but the two of them have a bit of each in both, right? And they join in a yin-yang, they join in the middle, and there's that line that blends the two together. That line I believe to be the wisdom of your heart, because we're basing decisions based on our life experience and our learned experience. Right? Now, that can change tomorrow because we've learnt or done something that has added to our capacity to make a different choice. So if we're not learning, if we're not growing, if we're not adding to one element or the other, we're stagnating. If you kick your toe enough times on the same chair and you don't learn to move the chair or move your foot, you're just going to keep kicking your chair. So your experience is telling you the chair's there and I'm going to kick it. Your knowledge is saying, well, if I move the chair or walk a different way, I'm not going to kick it. If you're not listening, you're just going to keep kicking it. And boy, will you have a sore toe. Again, you'll go, I'll do it again.
Oh, my. Sometimes I can see something and go, that's going to happen unless I move. So, yeah.
And hindsight's a great teacher. How often can we say, I knew not to do that?
You've been told. We get the warning.
I know.
Kerry Newman has joined us from Tasmania.
Lovely. Hello, Kerry.
Yeah, so it's good to see you here, Kerry. I wonder, what's your apple a day? Is there something that you do on a regular basis for your well-being? I know some people walk every day. That's an important thing. Some others might drink X amount of water per day. Others might, have that rest. I laugh because when I'm away on a cruise, people will go, I'm going to go for a snooze to help them cope with whatever's happening in the rest of the day or night. And yet we come home and life can be totally different. And do we make that same allowance for rest? As you said before, Marnie, it doesn't have to be sleep, but to have a rest and recharge our battery.
I call it me time. What's your me time? What's your favourite me time? Because it's not about being, what's the word? Selfish. It's about honouring yourself.
Mm.
You know, it's not about being selfish from other people. It's saying, what do I need to catch up? You know, some people I used to love a bubble bath. We don't have a bath in this house. So, you know, my end of day caring was a nice bubble bath, nice hot water, lots of bubbles, the essential oils burning and the lights off. It was lovely. And
How often do you do that?
Well, I don't do it at all now because we don't have a bath.
Oh, right.
And the shower's not the same. And I'll say that to people like, oh, I've got a bath, and come and use mine. I go, it's just not the same. The amount of effort that would have to be put into achieving that in someone else's house might be large. So you just don't worry about it. But I'm hoping there's some baths overseas.
Well, as always, otherwise, I must admit, I enjoy the float tank when you go in and you're in darkness with beautiful music playing, and I drift off as I do, because like you, I've lost a bath. I used to find that especially in summer, I go, I'll have a bath, and I
you got too
rarely did it as often as I thought about it.
Yeah, there's that as well. But all it is what I get clients to write 10 points or 10 things that make them start to feel good. Because the clients I see have got really, really high stress levels usually, and very low life energy. So they might come to you at a particularly not so easy time in their life. All right. So it's baby steps sometimes for some clients. It's not about go and run around the block 10 times because they haven't got capacity to even get out of bed. Okay. So their energy levels are quite low. And it's not just their physical energy, their life energy. Now, your life energy sits in your thymus area, which I'm trying to show you in this area here of the body. It's behind the rib cage there. It's your center of immune response. It's where your T4 and T3 cells come from. It's just your energy center. All right. And it's actually why gorillas pump their chest. They're actually pumping their thymus gland to tell the other gorillas around the place that they're bigger and better. So, but when your life energy is really, really low, you have to have things in place or knowledge in place that is exactly for you and not for someone else. But you know that it starts to make you feel better, or it lifts your spirits that little bit. So I get my clients to create a 10-point safety plan, not for when they're well. It's more for when they feel themselves going down into a bit of a spiral. And on those points, I get them to come up with 10 things that they know makes them feel better. All right. But on that, I also have phone a friend. Now, the phone a friend could be your best friend, your mum, the doctor, your therapist. It doesn't matter who it is, but it's just the concept of, pardon me, I have to phone someone. Because someone I know can start the journey going. It can be the domino effect to start lifting my energy. Do you like to walk on the beach, or do you like to walk in the countryside? So put a picture, and if you marry a picture to the thought or to the topic, it's working on your left and right sides of your brain. So your left and right hemispheres are actually engaged in the process. Right? And your emotional center comes on your right side. But it needs to visually see something and go, I know what that means. Okay, so it's phone a friend. Where is your comfort area? What's your favorite food? Now, I don't know anyone that has put kale chips on their favorite food. What I'm talking about here is not your health food, but what food makes you feel nurtured. And you take that back to childhood. So go back in time and remember what you were given or found you could eat or have when you were little that made you start to feel good. Now, for me, it's tinned tomato soup and Vegemite soldiers.
Right.
That's what made me when I was unwell. I had a brother that loved just chicken noodle soup. Right. But that was my go-to. If I was unwell, Mum would make me this tinned tomato soup and Vegemite soldiers. And I was being nurtured. So you have a picture of that on your place. So come up with 10 things that make you smile. It might be a picture of your dog or your favorite grandchild, or something that makes your favorite flower. It doesn't matter what they are. But put them on the board so that when you're starting to feel unwell, or you're not sure what apple to choose off that tree that day, the picture will help you remind you.
Mhm. I think something might have happened to Marnie.
No, I'm here.
Oh, there, I know you there. Yes, yes,
Oh,
yes.
okay. I stopped talking.
And
I thought you were going to
Kerry's
say something, so I went quiet.
That's all right. Kerry has joined our discussion, which is lovely. Garden takes me to other places.
Yeah. Absolutely. So a picture of your garden would go on your 10-point plan. You know, your favorite book, the book that you reread all the time because you just love it. And you know the page off by heart, but it doesn't matter. You still get embraced, or you go into the story when you're reading it. When I was in my 20s, I used to read a series of books from a lady called Georgette Heyer. And she was a historical writer, right? And I didn't read so much her murder mysteries because she wrote them well, but she had this series of like historical romances, but they had really good repertoire in them, you know, like there was great conversation and really interesting. And I would read that set of books every year at the beginning of the year and thoroughly enjoy it. And I had favorites. I had a few that were my favorites, and they're so well read, they're falling apart, but I won't give them away because even now I could pick one and go, oh, I'm going to enjoy this. So, you know, what's on your list? So just come up with those 10 points and then find the pictures that represent it and just put them on an A4 piece of sharp paper and put them somewhere behind your bathroom door or somewhere, because you don't need it out all the time. It's not like a vision board. It's more about, it's a reminder to start lifting my energy.
Right. Well, that could be an idea for some people that we don't know to think about. Okay, yes, what makes my heart sing? What is my apple a day? Something, safety net.
Yeah.
Isn't it? It's a, yes.
Because honestly, when you're not feeling well, you can't come up with them. So you need that physical reminder. You need that visual reminder, because you go, oh, that's right, that would work. Oh, why don't I go and have fish and chips on the beach or something, which you mightn't have thought of because you're feeling a bit unwell. But then you realise that going to the beach and having fish and chips might really be the panacea that you needed at that time. You know, digging in your garden, you know, is another one. And what are your favourite flowers? So your favourites, as soon as you look at a picture of your favourite flower, you'll smell it because it's connected to your lymphatic energy centre, because it's your favourite. So you know what it's about. You understand it.
I'm smiling, Marnie, because behind me is a little plaque that says, today I will be happier than a bird with a French fry.
The old seagull. Yes, well, I mean, they're delighted when you feed them, aren't they?
They delight in it. And I've been having lots of fun with my grandson feeding the birds. And we were in the park a couple of days ago, and there was an older gentleman who goes every day and takes food appropriate to the various birds that are there. And then we went off and we fed the ones that were okay with the food that we had.
Yeah,
like the scavengers.
You've got to be so careful nowadays.
I know. And then as we came back, there were two ladies who would be there once a week, not every day like that. And they too had food appropriate for the particular birds. And so Riker really learnt a lot. And of course, he delighted the ladies were happy to share what they had with him. So, Kerry, thank you for coming in and joining us for the time that you did.
Thanks, Kerry.
Whatever it is that you're going off to do.
Yes, let us know sometime your flower. Which is your favourite?
Yes, yeah. But talking about gardens, people say that especially if you're feeling down for any reason, and let's face it, we can, to get our hands into the dirt, you know, to ground ourselves. And Kerry was saying how she transports herself to other places. The thing is, Marnie, when we're working in the garden, it's amazing what thoughts might come to the surface, and we can go, so that's what's been bugging me.
Yeah. The thing is to remember, anything that's habitual, your mind doesn't have to concentrate as much, so it has capacity to get sidetracked. Right? Now, it has capacity to get sidetracked in a positive way, but it also can get sidetracked in a negative way. So you can start to think the same negative thoughts again. So if you find that occurring to yourself, imagine that negative thought has a friendship circle. All right? So the negative Nellies have come to rest on your shoulder, and they're going to start yakking away. And as they seep into your conscious awareness, you'll start to listen to them more. So what you need to be able to do is flick them away, is actually say, thank you, I don't need you today, I'm fine, and sort of hone back into the garden and the care you're giving the garden. Because negative Nellies, they can be very insistent. And eventually you listen to them and you believe them. So you need to learn ways to release them. You need to go, you know what, not today, and physically flick them away, because you know what you're doing. So you're consciously saying stop. Do you remember Speedy Gonzales, the cartoon? Ondele, ondele, iha, and he'd have a stop sign. So imagine if the negative Nellies are starting to chatter away in your ear, just imagine you've brought out this stop sign and you've put it in front of them and you've gone, stop. So you've actually halted them in process, and then get rid of them. Because you don't need them.
No, we don't.
No. So work out, how can you stop it? How can you pause them to start with so that they're not chattering away? And then how can you get rid of them? And energetically flicking them away is really good. You're not going to flick them on someone. Someone said to me once, I'll flick them on my friend. No, you won't.
No. Just flick them.
Don't add chaos to confusion. Just flick them.
Oh, my.
I believe sometimes that people think simple won't work. But simple is what you need when you're not feeling well. If you're having a mental health episode, if it's too complicated, the answer or the solution, you're not going to do it. All right, because your mind's already in confusion. It's in chaos. You need things that are simple. You need to smell something that takes you away from your headspace. You know, use an essential oil, or the garden. You know, the lady in the garden, Kerry, if she put her head in the mint patch, it would dispel all the other feelings that she's got, because the mint is strong. It's lovely. It's coming up and embracing her virtually. So find a smell. I think smell is an instant transport as well, especially when used in a positive way. You know, it's an anchor for you to hang on to. And people have favourite smells, and they have not so favourite smells. My least favourite smell are those big lilies that you buy, that you get in every flower arrangement. For me, they're overpowering.
But sometimes I've noticed some of them smell and some don't, because I have a girlfriend who's moved to Queensland, interestingly, but she would always bring me lilies, and they were fantastic. And then someone else gave me some, and you're right, I had to put them outside. They were so overpowering.
Yeah, I walk into a room and I can smell them. But then I must admit that my personal choice is more of a fruity, zestier smell too. I'm not as keen on the old traditional, what I call heavy, smells. You know, sacrilege to oilers all over the place, but frankincense is not one of my favourite smells. I value it, and I understand that it's fabulous in certain things, but I would really struggle to put it in a diffuser, because I'd sit in the room and I go, oh. So I don't connect to it on that level, but I do connect to it on its value of help. Just not the smell.
Now, you've just mentioned a diffuser. That can be very helpful too.
I've got a little one of my little granddaughters, her faulty body system or organ is her tummy. So she tends to get a tummy ache if she's anxious or something's bothering her. She'll say, oh, my tummy's aching, my tummy's aching. And I've got this little roller of oils that is for children's tummy. It's called Tummy Ease, and it's in a roller bottle. So she's got her own bottle. So when she's feeling that, I'll just say, go and rub your tummy. And she's actually of a stage now that she doesn't need to get asked. She'll go and get her roller bottle and put the oil on her tummy, and it helps her to feel better. So, you know, you can teach or you can show people things they can do. You remember the old, when you had perfume and you had your favourite perfume, you'd put it on your wrists so that you had the smell. When you were doing things, the smell would waft up. You can do the same with oils or soaps or anything that you use that has a scent that pleases you. All right, and it forms it makes you smile. You smell it and you go, oh, it's so nice.
Yeah. As you said, that's very simple, isn't it? And very effective.
It can be, but that's what I started the conversation about. Sometimes people don't believe the simple things make a difference, but the simple things are the start. They're easier to start things going. You know, when I wrote my book, smiling was my number one simple thing to start people to start feel better again, because when you smiled, the muscles that you were using in your mouth area here, they knew when you formed a smile that they released happy hormones. Is it the easiest thing to do when you're down and out to smile? No, it's not. But it's a simple thing that you can learn to do, that, you know, find something to smile at.
Right.
And it doesn't mean it's the solution to what's going on in your life. What it means is, I know when I smile, I release some happy hormones, which adds a little bit of energy to our Deliza life energy. So Deliza gets a couple of drops in her bucket. And that could be the difference between overwhelm and starting to go on the path to wellness again, or to lift myself up for this day. I mean, you're a great one. You know, the being and the smiling and joy and happiness are all words you use all the time.
Yeah. A friend brought up a very good point yesterday in saying that it really is important that we acknowledge our feelings. You know, we can say, oh, yeah, you know, life's really good, and it can be. However, when we're feeling the so-called negative emotions, it is really important that we acknowledge it. It doesn't mean that I have to stay in that.
No, you don't have to be it.
But we do need to feel it and acknowledge it. Otherwise, we stuff it down, and guess what?
Well, also, too, the body says, but I'm giving you this hint. I'm telling you this is how I'm feeling, and you're totally ignoring me. I don't understand, you know. So you have to be true to your feelings. But you can also, this is where we use the language intention to change the response to how we're feeling. So if we meet someone, so you see them coming and their shoulders are forward and their head's down and they're walking, and you just don't want to be their friend today because you look at them and you go, oh no, she's, you know, the need is there. If you greet that person and say, how are you? And they say, oh, I feel awful today. You don't actually want to be there listening to what they're telling you. You'd rather be a million miles away. It's not that you don't care, but today you just haven't got the energy to deal with what they're going through. However, if they say to you, I'm not feeling so good today, you're inclined to say, really? Can I help you? Because it's a different, like, they're not loading their negative energy onto you so that you're feeling not as drained, and you're inclined to respond differently to the way they're speaking. You know, it's just try it out. Just go, when you're in a shopping centre, you know, just trial some of these things out and see the difference it makes. My mum was really good. You know, when you have the trolley experiences, you're going this way and someone's coming this way.
Oh, yeah.
Mum found if she said, oh, hello, I'll move, the other person would say, oh, no, it's okay, I'll move. But prior to that, they were both, you know, going to meet here. So smiling at someone and acknowledging that they're there makes a difference to their response. Yeah, try it. do the trolley rampage.
We'll all go out to the supermarket this afternoon.
But you're like, you don't want to give in, do you? You're on that spot, and they should move because they see you and you are there for, it's life. It's humans.
I always smile, Marnie, when I'm walking along the street and I come to somebody who's in exactly the same space. And sometimes we'll do the Irish jig because you're sort of going the same way, trying to get out of the way. It's hysterical.
Yeah. But I mean, all these things that we're talking about, experiment with them. See which one of them actually helps you better. And work on that and make that the basis of when you're feeling down. When you're happy, when you're well, you don't need some of these hints because it's something you would normally do. When you're in a better space, your energy that you're presenting to other people is totally different. Totally different. Even that thing we've spoken about before about when you're not feeling the best, when you're feeling threatened, you will pull your shoulders in and you'll guard your heart chakra. All right. So you pull your shoulders in so that no one's going to hurt you or you're not going to give out anything. But you're closing yourself off as well. So purely by raising your shoulders back or pulling your shoulders back, you're actually opening your heart chakra. You're allowing your diaphragm to work better so you can breathe easier. And if you then slightly lift your chin, you're also opening your throat chakra. So you've got a totally different energy to being closed off like this. And people will respond differently.
So, and we do too. We're lifting our own feelings, aren't we, with our posture.
Absolutely.
If I feel that I'm slumped, it's like, whoa. Whereas
you suddenly realize it, don't you? You think, oh geez, I'm sitting funny here.
Yes. Yeah.
Or I'm frowning. I don't need to be frowning. Why am I frowning? So you become aware of your expressions and especially if you've got a video in front of you, you suddenly think, oh geez, I better smile. And the other thing to remember is that you personally are 100% responsible for your own response to things and your own attitude. So, pick an attitude that's better. Pick a bright, shiny, crispy, delicious apple attitude rather than an old, soggy, yucky one.
Absolutely. Well, you've hit it. The experience, sometimes, a lot of the time, we haven't necessarily got control over the experience that we have. What we do have control over is our response to that experience.
Yeah. And you can't change your response unless you know what the experience is showing up as. And that's where I like accepting that I'm not feeling the best today or being truthful to yourself. Because if you're feeling really unwell and you say to your body, I'm just great, your body is going, I am so confused. I really feel unwell. So by then you say, I'm not feeling so well today. So the body goes, yeah, I'll accept that. So you're not telling your body untruths. Otherwise, how does it judge which is right?
That's a good point.
So you need to be truthful to yourself, to thine own self be true, but just couch it in a different way. Learn to change some of the terminology that you're using. And just rechange, like just add some words to it that mean the same, but they just said differently.
And see, that's another aspect too, our lingo. What is it that I'm saying? What words am I choosing to use?
Yeah.
And if there are lots that are repeated, why are they constantly in my vocab?
You get a real eye-opener when you've recorded a workshop or you've recorded a talk that you're doing and you listen back and you go, oh, my Lord, I've said 65,000 times, or do you understand that? I've said, 15 times. And I have to be more conscious of it because you're just talking, off the top of your head, not the top of your head, but it's not rehearsed.
Right.
So that you're not reading it you're not reading it word for word. You're actually expressing it with hints maybe, but just talking, you know, like we do here today.
Mm.
So you can find yourself saying lots of things the same.
Exactly.
It's an awareness thing.
Yeah.
I remember listening to a lot of my talkbacks, not so much on Angel Heart Radio, but on some of the, when I'm doing presentations at groups and things, and I'll go, oh, Lord, how many times do I say that?
Oh, my. Well, Marnie, I think we've done extremely well today. And for the audience, you've listened, and thank you for being there. And we used to feel that we had to do hour shows. I figure, once we feel that we've had our message across, let's face it, 15 minutes is precious to us all.
Absolutely.
We can go and give ourselves that 15 minutes that we didn't think we were going to have.
We can, yes. And think of the brand of apples you want. I was just sitting here thinking of all the kinds of apples, and the Bonza apple came up for me. I thought, I'm going to have a Bonza day.
Well, yes. And yeah. I know you're going to have Bonza fun in the coming weeks. We're not going to be together in August because you'll
see them in
traveling and catching up with your daughter and having new experiences. How wonderful.
Yes. And coming back to September, which is my favourite month because it's my birthday month.
Yeah, spring is in the air.
Spring is in the air, all right? Yeah.
Yeah. So
thanks, Annette. And then thank you for my little parcel again that I received last week as well.
Oh,
my
I'm glad you did.
And stuff. Yes, it came, and we thoroughly enjoyed our little chocolate. It didn't melt this time.
Excellent. I'm very pleased.
So thank you.
All right, Marnie, it's been a delight as always, and I trust, audience, that you have gained something from it, as well as a bit of fun and light entertainment.
Absolutely.
We're
all hilarious.
Really well with our extra few minutes. Bye.